So I'm so happy to have you as my guest on my show today, Cindy. I'm so excited to learn and discuss about our topic today, the concept of self advocacy, the ability to speak up for ourselves and the things that are important to us. So, before we do that, Cindy, I would like you to tell us a little bit about your background and, about your journey that brought you right there where you are now.
For sure. So, like most people, my journey has not been a straight line. I started off studying clinical psychology, as you suggested, and I built a very successful practice in clinical psychology. And then, though, I come from a long line of entrepreneurs, family business owners in the area of manufacturing, electrical, and also food industry. And so I grew up around the dinner table, around profit and loss, around capital gains, around talent discussions that, in fact, as a child and an adolescent, didn't really interest me. But I did, of course, absorb some things. And I would say that my very first job was in leadership development, and I was an employee in a financial services sector. And I would say that I failed as an employee. And the reason I was a failure as an employee was because I think that for me, coming from self employed entrepreneurs, it was challenging to fit within a process driven environment. And I didn't have the maturity. And so when I got impatient and wanted things to go faster and wanted others to adopt change, I got frustrated rather than thinking about how could I partner, how could I actually, as you say, advocate for my point of view. So I quit and I decided to go out on my own. And so I was only an employee in my entire career, 25 years plus, for 3 years. And when I went out on my own, or wanted to go out on my own, it was interesting the feedback that I received. And so there were many that said, that's not possible, or you're too young, or it's too hard, or you're going to fail. And so there were others that, of course, were supportive, but it was probably a constant theme every time I've pivoted and changed and done different things in my career or my personal life, where there are two camps, one that says, go for it. We believe in you. You're going to be successful. And then the other that's, I think sometimes people project their own fears around this is too risky.
Exactly, they do so. So, nevertheless, it is a bold step to start your own business and to go into solopreneurship. So, with doing that, what was your vision with that business and your big why? What makes you inspire others?
Well, because my degree originally was in clinical psychology, as you suggest, I really like to understand what motivates people, what drives people. And I always thought the question around are leaders born or made is a dated question. Sure, there are natural attributes that we come to the table with, but I think a lot of it, because the world is so complex and ever changing, that we do have to learn skills and then undo skills and add additional skills. So my vision was, how do I bring out the best in people within the business environments that they're in? And my vision was that I was going to be able to look at two segments: those who are high potential leaders who are eager to learn and aspire to make a difference, and then seasoned leaders who in fact have been successful but need to learn how to adjust to a different mandate, different scope, different set of stakeholders, and how do you sell your vision or your platform to a complex set of stakeholders. So that was my vision. And in terms of being able to add value, I thought that I didn't question that as much from the point of view as that I thought I will learn with my clients. My clients will teach me how to be better, which is what they've done my entire career. And I like to surround myself with experts because that's how I learn, and that's how I continue to be inspired. So, for example, there was one client that I have, and I'll never forget this. He was a consultant with one of our major financial services accounting firms, and he was a year before retirement. And he was very, very senior partner. And he said to me, Cindy, I'd like if you would coach me. And I said, you want me to coach you? I said, I think it should be the other way around. And I said, also, I'm intrigued by 1 year, you have 1 year left to go. Why would you actually request a coach at this point in your career? And he said to me something fascinating, Bridget. He said, because I want to figure out how I can impart my knowledge and my intel and my expertise on people around me, and I need your help. It's not a role that I actually played formally. Of course, I've done it. And so this gentleman sticks in my mind because he's so inspiring and basically said, there's always something to learn, and I need to know how to best impact and influence people with the talents that I have.
Wow, that's such a beautiful story. So let's stick with your clients. I'm sure you have different kinds of clients. So, what are their major pain points, and what desires are you exactly satisfying other than that of the story you have just told us?
Sure.
Yeah, what is the transition that you help with?
Sure. So back to the topic for today, it is around self-advocacy. So there are a lot of people, as you know, who are extraordinarily bright, highly talented, and very adept at their technical skills. So they're hired as a graphic designer, or they're hired as a web developer, or software design, or a chemist, whatever their discipline is. But in terms of being able to promote themselves around why it is they add value, it's hard for a lot of people. We might have grown up in an environment where being humble and being self effacing is a value set. But in the business world and in much of society, we're rewarded for being noisy. We're rewarded for being loud. And so, my goal and my vision, my motivation is to help elevate people so that they can maintain their level of humbleness, seen as being ego balanced, but at the same time being experts at the table. So lots of times Bridget clients will call me and say, there are people at the table that are smarter than me, they're brighter than me, they're more talented than me. And so there's a self diminishing aspect to their leadership where they make themselves invisible. And so it's my job to help really magnify their talents and allow them to feel that they do have something to offer.